everyone, welcome back to episode 26, my favorite number of the Cool Water Show, where we talk about everything Real Housewives, whether it's online, Peacock, Bravo, we cover it. We got it all for you over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari, and I am joined, as always, by my I almost call you Ho-Coast. Hey, Ho-Coast. This is my Ho-Coast, Katie. Katie.
Hey, Ho-Coast.
It is the 4th of July. How is your Monday afternoon, early evening going?
You know, it's going okay. I told you a minute ago, I ate a blue Italian ice, so I apologize for like my purple mouth. Like I look like a little kid who just had too many popsicles. But that's like the highlight of my day. I've just been sitting on the couch watching Seinfeld, and then I fell asleep for a little while. So, you know, just your average Monday. I have nothing to celebrate today. So,
yeah, same.
You know.
I've done 3 podcasts today. This is number 3. So no celebrating. I'm fucking sick of 4th of July. I'm sick of the fireworks.
Same.
My dog hates them. I am 20 something miles south of a mass shooting and a 4th of July parade.
Awful.
If you are not a white man, you are not free in this country. So yeah, Today is just a day that I have off of work, which I appreciate. But otherwise, like, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, let's keep moving. There's plenty of things we could say, but we have a lot of housewives to talk about. So
yeah, we do. And we have Beverly Hills and Ultimate Girlship. There was no episode of Atlanta this week due to the holiday. So we are going to jump right into Beverly Hills. And we have our first formal introduction. It seems like we've met Cherie before, which, by the way, her spelling her name the same way as Sheree.
Yep.
You're going to mess me up. So,
yep.
Cherie, if I call you Sheree at any point, because I know you're listening, I know you're a fan of us.
Totally.
I apologize as a Kari.
It's a compliment.
As a Kari who gets called Kari, I'm going to do my best. But you both spell it the same way, and I've been saying Sheree a lot longer than Cherie. So anyway, Garcelle and Cherie meet up on a walk. Like, they didn't even use like sidewalks. They just kind of like cut through the grass, which was interesting to me. I was wondering, like, why aren't we using paths? But maybe there's like too many people on paths, so it's easier for them to film if they're just like in the middle of a grass field.
That's a good call. Yeah, that's a good call.
So I feel like that's not the first time that's happened this season either, with Garcelle especially. I feel like she went on a walk with someone earlier in the season, and she was just like in the middle of kind of nowhere. I don't know. I could be making that up. Maybe I'm just thinking of a preview to this.
I'll have to think back.
I think it was when she was like talking to, that was the beach. Maybe not. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, we have met Cherie, I guess, in a previous season, like somewhat informally at some sort of meal. They definitely have some flashback footage of her.
Yes, we met her, I think, was it Garcelle's first season or was it last season, where she had a lunch with maybe not all of her friends, but a bunch of her friends. Cherie was there. And we learned that she was Will Smith's first ex-wife. Or, first ex-wife, I guess.
I didn't know that Will Smith...
I don't know if he has more than one ex-wife, but his first wife.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he was married before Jada Pinkett Smith. So
no, I know.
I learned something new watching this episode.
Yeah, same.
And we learned that...
I think I knew that his first son was not with Jada, but I guess I didn't realize he was married.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he had kids outside of Willow and Jaden.
Yeah, named after Will and Jada. I'm like anti the Smith family. It's a conversation for another time, but that's part of the reason that you're naming both of your children after. It's like a little bit annoying to me.
That makes sense. I mean, I just didn't know that there was another child. I didn't know there was another marriage. I didn't know Garcelle dated Will Smith in between his first wife and second wife.
No, that was news to me.
Yeah, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot in this first few minutes. So we also said that, or we didn't also say, but Garcelle also said that she tried to model her parenting with her ex-husband in the way that Cherie and Will parent their kid, which I think is interesting. And that's like a really nice compliment to get.
Really nice compliment.
Because, I mean, like, that's a hard thing to do. So if someone says you're doing it well and is trying to, like, model their behavior after you, You should be flattered, Cherie.
Totally. Totally.
So Garcelle brings up, yeah, my birthday party's coming up. It should be peaceful. There'll never be drama. Not at my birthday party. Not with these women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Never.
never.
Not with this group.
Never that.
So that is left to be seen. But spoiler alert, there's drama.
Mm-hmm.
We then go and visit Crystal, and Crystal is making an Instagram video with her housekeeper. They're making a cocktail. Is this something she does regularly?
I don't know. I thought I followed Crystal on Instagram. I guess that I don't because this is not familiar content to me, but I would watch this. I love her housekeeper. That drink looked delicious. Sounded like it was getting her housekeeper pretty drunk.
It made it seem like they do this regularly, and it also makes sense when they've been at events and they're like, oh, have Crystal make your drink. She's the bartender.
Right, the bartender, yeah.
So that was interesting, and we get that her brother is back from a year in China, which when I saw him, I was like, he's still there. But I guess he was like releasing music and stuff in China.
Yeah, I guess he's a pop star in China, right? That's his situation.
I thought that I had read somewhere that like Crystal kind of pumped him up on the show to be a much bigger pop star than he actually is.
Oh.
I could be wrong about that. I could be very wrong about that. So take that with a large grain of salt, but I thought I had read that once. So interesting, because I feel like if you're a massive pop star, like you don't have time to just sit
right in your sister's house.
But I also know that China, like, they went into another, or some parts of China at least went into like another very strict lockdown. So it could make sense why he'd come back or whatever. Yeah. So again, it's one of those things that it's interesting that they're trying to be as COVID free as possible in these episodes when clearly COVID is having an impact on different parts of the show.
Right.
Rob had just gotten back from a movie play thing. I don't know. As soon as like movies or plays come up, I don't care.
Same. I'm not a movie person, and I'm even less of a play person, and I'm even less a musical person. So like anytime anyone brings any of those things up to me, my brain just shuts off.
Oh, absolute same. There's one of those like personality tests, and there's different categories, and one of them was art, and I literally scored a 0 in the art section. I'm not even exaggerating. It's like it basically said like you have no culture, which
probably
fine.
Yeah. Like, the Real Housewives are my culture, so like I have no culture. I agree.
I have a hard time following plays, but especially musicals. Like I just can't do it. I can't do it.
There's nothing I hate more than a musical. And this is such an unpopular opinion. And I don't even try and hide it to people who like musicals. I'm like, your hobby's my least favorite thing on the planet Earth. Like, I fucking hate it.
Oh, the people who are like, oh my God, this Broadway play, that Broadway play, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can't care less about this.
Could not care less.
Yeah. I, back in the day when, what's it called? When they did the wand-off for RHAP, there was a friend who was like, I submitted a song and it was this. And I'm like, am I supposed to know this? He's like, it's from Hamilton. I'm like, I don't care. I hate history, bores me.
Yep.
Musicals bore me. Yep. Anything else that I have no interest in this whatsoever. And I was then like politely scolded for my lack of interest. And it's like, I don't shame you for not caring about what I care about. Let me live.
Right. I'm going to start shaming these people for actually like either caring too much about musicals or just not caring enough about like Real Housewives.
Yeah. There's other things that bring culture. I've learned, I went to Nobu because of Real Housewives.
Yeah. Real Housewives more culturally impactful than musicals. I'm going to say it. They're more relevant in pop culture than musicals. Sorry.
Staking my flag on this one.
I'll defend that opinion.
I agree with it. So if anybody wants to fight us, slide in the DMs. We'll have you come on, and we'll do a special episode of why you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. We will prove you wrong.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They go through this whole little thing of him trying to say Duke of what we would probably say is Norfolk. because it is spelled
Oh, yeah.
Norfolk, but it's
Mhm.
pronounced Norfolk there.
Yeah,
And
like, is he right?
I think it sounds like Norfolk because of the accent. So we
Okay.
like it's one of those things that like if we were to say it there, if we would say Norfolk, I think someone
We would be
who
wrong.
is English would be like, you're saying it funny.
Right, right,
Um, so I kind of understand like he doesn't have like the rest of the accent to go with it.
right.
And then the three of them, Jeff, Crystal, and Rob, sit down and talk a little bit about Mexico. Crystal said it was difficult. We thankfully do not get into the weeds of it. I was so
Oh my God, thank
appreciative of
God.
that. Shout out Housewives.
Yes.
And then they ask about Diana's experience, and Crystal said it was like her first trip. It wasn't great. And then Crystal reminds them, like, when you jab at Diana, it's nuclear, which is a little bit of foreshadowing,
Yeah.
yeah, for what's coming up. So next we cut to Kyle, and Kyle tells Mauricio, like, hey, we have Garcelle's birthday tomorrow, so make sure that your schedule is open. And Kyle says to Mauricio, like, I don't think that Diana is going to be coming to Garcelle's party. And then we get into this group text.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Diana basically sends a group text saying she's been bleeding for 8 weeks since her miscarriage, and she wouldn't normally do this in a group text, but she is because she doesn't want Garcelle, misspelled, not spelled correctly.
I want to know how
Think
it was spelled.
my guess is 1L.
Okay.
I don't know, but if I
They
were
were
to
really making
guess,
a big deal about how it's misspelled, so I feel like it
yeah,
has to be like a gross misspelling, but no one said it.
I guess the only thing is like if you save someone's name as it being misspelled, you really probably don't have any other way to, unless like someone else has said it,
Right.
obviously. Like, and I'm sure in a group chat that someone has said Garcelle's name, but
Right.
no, it's not like the person sends you the email. That's the worst when they send the email and or you send an
Oh my
email and
God.
they reply and it's the wrong name. It's like
Yes.
it
The
is spelled
worst.
right there for you.
Literally right in front of your face.
But yeah, both Garcelle and Sutton brought up that was misspelled.
Mm-hmm.
But Diana doesn't want Garcelle thinking that she's rude for not showing up.
Yeah. This was a weird shot to take, in my opinion.
I don't want to question anyone's like medical shit. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's hard to do. And
Mm-hmm.
especially I think like as women, we have a lot of us, I don't want to say all, but a lot of us have masked like discomfort that comes from being a woman.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um just because if you say like, oh, I'm bleeding or I have cramps or whatever, that like one of my best friends has never had cramps from her period. And I'm like,
What?
dude, yeah, I'm like, I gotta stay home. I feel like I'm gonna die. This is the 12
Yeah.
hours of my like every month where it feels like my stomach is trying to escape itself.
Yep. Yep.
And she's just like, okay, and like doesn't get it because she's
That's
never had
wild to me.
cramps. You know what I mean? So like there's people who don't understand, don't get it. If you've never had a miscarriage, if you've never had an abortion, that like
Mm-hmm.
the whole process of that. Um, but it just I don't know, like I'm not questioning that it is or isn't happening. I just am questioning the way this is all being done.
Yeah, same. Same. It just seems very strange to like put this whole diatribe in a text message solely to attack Garcelle.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
And it's also like a passive attack.
Well, right. And then they talk about it a little bit later, and I think Sutton calls her aggressive, and she's like, "That was passive aggressive. That was aggressive to me." And I'm like, "That
Mm-hmm.
was definitely not aggressive.
No, that was
That was
using,
like peak passive aggressive."
yeah, you were justifying things by using like other circumstances versus just saying like, Garcelle, I don't like the way that you treat me. You make me feel unwelcome, and I'm not going to go to your birthday because of that.
Right. That would be direct.
Yeah.
This was not direct.
No, but so much of what these people do is like not direct until it becomes like so
Mm-hmm.
over argued that
Right.
and at that point, everyone's just tired of it, and there's no point
Mhm.
in being direct because, like, just let it go. So much passive aggressive. So yeah, we get a bunch of the women kind of like reading different parts of
Yeah.
this text message. So this text message exists. She's supposed to be on bed rest because her body is not healing well from the miscarriage that she had. Okay.
Okay.
So next we have Erica getting, I think she was getting extensions put in, right? That makes sense in the context.
Yes. Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that's what it was.
understand anything about this type of stuff.
I think it was like her hairline or
Yeah, pretty
something.
much.
That's what it seemed like. Yes. I don't know if I would name my hairline Pretty Mess. Just saying. I get that's like your brand, but I don't know if I would name like a line of extensions Pretty Mess.
Yeah.
Seems like poor branding.
No, you have a very valid point. And Erica then is talking, I don't know if it's to us, I forget if it was a confessional or not, or if she's talking to like her creative director. I think his name might have been Matt, but basically, like, she didn't know how she was going to pull herself out of this whole situation after like what the press was saying about her, and it really hurt her business because no one was calling her, phone wasn't ringing, people weren't answering her calls, which, like, that tracks. That makes sense.
Yep.
And then we get some like insight on her relationship with her grandmother. And is
Yeah.
this insensitive? I don't care.
No, I don't care either. I don't give a shit at all.
It's
Even
one
if it
thing
is
with
insensitive, then I'm on the insensitive train with you. I don't care.
it's one thing where we get like Rinna reminiscing about her mom, but her mom was in episodes. We
Yeah.
saw her interact with the women. Like, reminiscing about her mom at least makes sense because we know Lois and we heard like vulnerable stories from Lois and all that. But like, I don't care about this.
Nope. I don't even remember that this happened. So, like, that's how little I care about it. I don't even remember
Perfect.
that this was a thing that happened in the episode.
But do you remember her hair in the second confessional where it was this like big ass braid to the side of her head?
Oh,
And like,
yes.
I think she had the weird like side bang going.
Yes.
That was a choice.
Yeah, choices are being made for sure. Choices are
Not
being
a
made.
not a fan of that one.
Mm-mm.
After Erica, we have Sutton visiting Dorit, and why did I write this? Oh, was it? So the first note I wrote was adults calling their parents mommy or daddy is fucking weird.
Oh, it's totally weird. It's because Dorit's mom was there.
And Dorit called her mom
Yeah.
mommy and mama,
Yeah.
I think, at one point or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
no, it's
that.
weird. It's extremely weird. Like, there's got to be a time where we grow out of this. Dorit's in her 40s, right?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes me uncomfortable.
Same.
Mommy. Like, daddy's weird for a whole different reason, but mommy is just
Yeah.
weird. So whatever. Well, then we get Sun talking about how she is getting her hormones balanced by getting testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
And Dorit kind of like rolls her eyes. It's like,
Yeah, like, what was that about? Why is Dorit? I feel like this is not the first time we've heard about hormone imbalances on the Real Housewives. We've definitely heard about it, like, oh, you probably haven't seen it yet. It was on Jersey. But it's I mean, like, it's a normal thing, and they're basically the same age. So I don't know why Dorit was acting like this was so strange.
mm-hmm. I mean, if it doesn't happen to Dorit, then she has the right to analyze it from her own worldly perspective and has to be right because she's so well traveled. It's okay, Nitro. There is big fireworks that just went off at 5:18 p.m. because that seems like the perfect time to set fireworks off.
Makes
Definitely
sense.
not waiting till
You're
sunset.
really getting your money's worth.
I hate it here.
Yeah.
Poor guy. All right, so I was like, I don't understand my own notes right now. Sutton says she's different. I'm like, different from what? But different from last year. And like Dorit kind of gives a confessional saying like, not exactly. And but doesn't say any of it to her face
I
naturally.
actually do find Sutton to be a little bit different than last year. Last year, I feel like she was a wreck. And this year, I feel like
Yes.
she's standing up for herself a little bit more. She's even like almost a little more light about it. Like her and
Mm-hmm.
Erica, I think, have a lighter energy. Even when they argue, like she's not scared and running away and hiring security. She's like going back at Erica. So
Yeah.
I as a viewer, find Sutton to be different this season.
Wow, that one was
Oh,
real
I heard
loud.
that one.
It's okay. You're gonna make it. My dog is so mad. He's not even mad. He's like sad and just scared. Poor guy.
Oh,
Come here. Go upstairs to Brett then. Oh, last night I took him out and it was like he just kept wanting to go in and I kept having to like drag him to not go. And then there was this loud firework that went off and I think it scared him so bad that it caused him to pee, which like thankfully
oh,
got him to go to the bathroom. But
yeah,
at the
but
same
that's
time,
sad.
like I don't think he chose that. So
No.
um, no. If you are listening and you light off fireworks, I hate you.
Yep.
I used to love fireworks, and now that my last few years with Nitro, I'm like, no, we're not team fireworks anymore.
No.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah, Nitro's like hiding. Poor guy. You guys are getting the narration of my dog's reaction to fireworks. I'm gonna text my roommate to see if he'll call Nitro up. Can you call Nitro up? Loud fireworks back here. Oh, I just heard Brett say what's up, buddy. So maybe Nitro went up on his own. All right. We'll check in with Nitro later. Now back to your Real Housewives content. So yeah, I think that Sutton is different too. I'm not saying that like Sutton is the greatest, like that she's changed into the GOAT or anything, but she definitely is different. I
Yeah.
think things affected her a lot more easily and she like projected a lot more last year
Yeah.
versus this year is just she's like facing things head on.
Yeah, for sure.
Dorit asks about how Sutton and Crystal are. She's like, we've had it out and we should be done. And again, it ended there. So I have hope that like this is it. This is now
Yeah.
twice that the opportunity has come up to rehash this episode and it hasn't.
Yeah.
So
I really hope that we're done with this.
yeah, same. Then Dorit asks how she's with Diana. So Sutton explains what happened with the seats on the plane and says that Diana got in the crossfire of her and Crystal. But Sutton also feels that because she apologized immediately, Sutton should like accept this and keep going. Sutton also brings up the jab that she took at Garcelle, I'm guessing by spelling her name wrong on purpose, or at least what they think is on purpose.
I guess.
And that next time on one of these trips, if Diana's providing the private jet, she'll just get her own plane.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a flex.
Yeah. Do you have a side in this?
Yeah, I hate Diana. So I'm definitely on Sutton's side. I cannot stand Diana. Like, I hate her. I think that I guess we could talk about it when we get to the end of the episode, but it seems like the reckoning is coming, and this is one of the few moments that all of the fans are on the same side, and everybody hates Diana.
Yeah. I haven't seen much positive Diana stuff online.
She's a horrible addition to the show.
Mm-hmm. We then go back to Garcelle, and we're at her house. All of her sons are there, and we find out that her oldest son, Oliver, actually surprised Garcelle on her show that morning for her birthday with flowers. And she's just happy to see that Oliver is where he's at in life after he struggled in the past. Mm-hmm. Sutton then FaceTimes Kyle. Kyle said that she doesn't think Diana is going to be there. And Sutton was like, actually, I texted her this morning to be nice. And Diana said she'll see me tonight. So Kyle says that she, again, feels like this whole situation is being made into a bigger one than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, I mean, it's weird to me to send a text message about how you're on bed rest and have like a whole diatribe about how like you've been bleeding for 8 weeks and blame Garcelle for being like, oh, I don't want Garcelle to call me rude, so I have to tell you my whole medical history, and then be like, okay, I'll see you at the party.
My question is, I guess, like, why is Sutton texting Diana?
Right, it's weird. That is also weird. if this person is so nasty to you, so nasty and so rude, as Nene Leakes would say, I mean, like, what's the why? I guess she just wanted to say, like, I hope you're feeling okay, which is what a normal human would do. I guess, I don't know. Would I do the same? Probably not.
I wouldn't have said it outside the group chat. If she's going to put it in the
Right.
group chat, I'm going to say it in the group chat, unless
Right.
it was
Like, hope you're
something
feeling
that like
better.
directly affected me. Like
Mm-hmm.
Garcelle had every reason to message her outside the group chat to be like,
Yep.
yo, what the fuck are you calling me out about?
Yeah.
But Sutton going out of her way. I'm not saying I agree with Diana, but I do think that is like fake behavior for you to be like,
Yes.
"Oh, am I going to see you tonight?" Like you don't want to see her tonight. She doesn't want to see you tonight. You don't care if she's there or not. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
But then Kyle saying this, that feels like this is being made into a bigger deal than it needs to be. Kyle is half of the reason it's being made into a bigger deal than it needs to be. And I feel like we see this later on
I can't
in that
even. I'm gonna like
conversation.
actually fully rage about it if I think about it too hard. So like I'll save it for when we get to the end
Perfect.
because
Wait, because that's coming up very soon. Very soon in the notes.
ugh.
So we get to Garcelle's party. The first thing I wrote is that I like Sutton's dress. I normally don't notice the
I'm trying to
fashion. It was
remember.
like it had a like collar necklace type of thing that it was like a black sash
Oh
type
yeah,
over
okay.
one boob and the blue over the other.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. Earlier when Sutton was at Dorit's house, I liked her outfit there too. It was very like cat. It was like a flowy shirt, like half tucked into jeans. It was like a normal everyday outfit, but it looked like something anybody could, not like a super rich person could wear. And I was like, you know what? She looks nice. I like this outfit.
I didn't notice that one, but I noticed this dress. And then speaking of wearing, what the fuck was Dorit wearing?
What the fuck was Kyle wearing?
I didn't even notice what Kyle was wearing.
Oh, Kari. She had like lingerie on. She was wearing like full on lingerie.
Oh, yeah, because when she was doing the splits and stuff and
Her
throwing her
vagina
legs
was on the
about.
ground.
Yeah. I
I
guess I
guarantee you
didn't
her
like.
vagina lips touched the floor of that party. At least one. At least one lip came out and touched the floor on that party.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
I maybe I just got so caught up in what Dorit was wearing that I like it. Kyle's didn't phase me until she was like doing her dancing and stuff.
As soon as she walked in, I was like, what are we doing here, ma'am?
Yeah, I didn't even.
This is a lot.
I didn't notice.
Dorit's didn't bother me much, but I know Erica asked her, like, oh, what are you wearing? She's like, it's vintage. But that's all she said.
She was like, it's vintage, look it up. And it just looks like a zebra and a snake had sex and
Yeah.
its skin crawled onto Dorit.
Mm-hmm. I do traditionally like a jumpsuit, but this was like a little much.
How do you get out of it? Like
There
it's
must have been like a
gloves.
big zipper. Yeah.
It went all the way to her hands. I don't know. It was
I don't know if you
a
follow the
lot.
Kardashians. I don't think you do, right? I think we talked
No.
about this. There's this thing that Kim Kardashian's been doing where she wears like leggings that are also boots or shoes. They're like shants, like shoe pants. And that's all I think. And then sometimes it's like a full body outfit where it's like shoes into gloves, into pants. And it's like all she wears. She has it in like every color. She wears it on every single thing that she's been on in the past couple of months. And it's ridiculous. And I'm like, how are you putting this on and taking this off? I don't understand this. Also, it doesn't look good. Sorry, Kim.
When fashion isn't practical, it just confuses me.
Yeah.
All right, so Diana shows up. She wants to honor Garcelle's birthday and so that no one can call her rude. She thinks that Garcelle has a preconceived notion of her. And Garcelle thinks that Diana misunderstood bed rest for take a nap, but is happy that the bitch rallied.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this is like we really get to see Diana's true colors here. And I'm going to say something that might be offensive to pigs, but Diana's a fucking pig. And that's how I feel about her throughout this whole episode. Like through as soon as she walks into the party and she's talking shit and she's like, oh, it's dead indeed. I'm like, this bitch is a pig. She's a fucking pig. And I love pigs. I'm a vegetarian. I love pigs. But she's a fucking pig. There's no other way I can describe her.
And then on top of it, Diana gives Garcelle a copy of her book signed because it's very limited edition, not because it's sold out everywhere, but because they stopped producing it because Diana was
Like,
being called.
is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Are you bragging about the fact that your book is out of publication because everybody thinks it's a black book for you being a madam?
Well, Garcelle said she would have preferred a bag instead,
Yeah.
but she got the book, and this is where Sutton chimes in confessional, and she just said she's confused that Diana is here after being on her deathbed. Maybe Diana is Jesus because this is what Jesus did.
That was a good one.
Yes, it definitely made me laugh. We get a little bit of Crystal and Erica, and Crystal asking how Erica is doing with like all the legal stuff, and Erica just says like there's a lot to deal with, but things are getting better. And this is as Erica is being fed spicy margarita after spicy margarita.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy couldn't make it to Garcelle's birthday, but sent her a fancy cake. Did she send the Birkin cake, or was it?
I don't know.
That
I
wasn't
think it was a different
distinguished.
cake.
I
I
can't
feel like it was a
imagine
different
Kathy
cake.
sending a Birkin bag cake.
No, I don't think. I think it was a different cake.
Yeah.
Probably to her house.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. That would make sense because I feel like we didn't see any other cakes.
Yeah.
Then we have Oliver introducing himself to Erica and Crystal, and both of them are like, dude, Oliver is hot.
You're not wrong.
No. I had read online, and I think that if you've been on the internet today, especially, that with like the previews coming out, that Garcelle and Erica,
to say about this.
Yeah, Garcelle and Erica have like a falling out over her son, but it's not specified which son. So I thought like Erica, like, is this gonna be the beginning of Erica trying to sleep with Oliver? Time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in the preview, Erica is telling Garcelle's younger son, one of the 14-year-olds whose name is escaping me, to get the fuck out of here and to fuck off or something like that. And that's what
Yeah.
Garcelle was mad about.
Yeah. I saw that today, which made more sense. But I'm okay. Again, I'm not defending Erica here. However, at one point in these notes, I did write, why is the 14-year-old son still there at the adult party? Like, I get that he's your son, but there has to be a point where you send him home.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that he was there to begin with.
I think it's cool. Show up, have him like be part of your entrance or whatever. Maybe if there was food or something, like have him stay for an hour. But
yeah, once the dancing and the drinking and the whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, there's, in my opinion, and I'm incredibly anti-children, so as a former educator, adult events where kids are suck.
Yeah,
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And like a 14-year-old is still a child. I don't care.
Yeah,
that
a 14-year-old is definitely a child.
They are capable of like fending for themselves or whatever, but I mean, like, there was a point where they were dancing and Kyle leans back and Garcelle grabs Kyle's boobs and her son's right there. And she, you know what I mean? Like,
covers his eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like, that was her actions that she has to defend. And that's one thing. But to then expect however many of your guests to behave a certain way because your kids are there. And I'm not saying Garcelle specifically, just this is like kids at adult events in general. I am not a fan.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree.
But the way that like Erica does it in the preview, which we can talk about, that's a whole different story. But I did write, I'm like, why is this for? And this was before like
the preview.
Yeah.
Because the preview was today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely wrote that ahead of time. So I was at least on the same page as her for a bit. But we'll get there. So then we get Cherie being introduced to the group. Garcelle jokes that she dated Cherie's ex-husband. So again, we get the Will Smith connection here. And there's some like chat amongst the women. Nothing, I think, like that worthwhile in repeating.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that they flashback to Pantygate, which, please, that wasn't even a story when it happened. Like, please, let's not have us bring this up again.
I did actually have that. It's because they cut to Kyle and Diana in the bag, and then they go back to the PK thing. So My bad. It's hard to like order these things when it goes so
No, totally.
fast. So yeah, let's talk about that. Cherie makes a comment like she tells the women that she made peace with her vagina, and that's like when things start getting better for her,
Yeah.
which okay, girl, live
Okay.
your life. And
Happy for you.
yeah, Garcelle makes a comment that she was forced to wear underwear, and Erica said don't tell Dorit's husband because he looked at her pussy all night. And
Yeah.
up walks PK right after that.
Yeah, and you could tell Dorit was like fuming inside when that came up. I don't know why I just never want to talk about Panagate again. It's just like that was a horrible thing when it happened. Horrible being like, I can't believe that this is a thing that we had to watch on TV for an entire season. That was the only storyline. I don't want this to come back again.
Yeah. I'm fine not talking about it again. Absolutely. And so
It did make me miss Lisa Vanderpump though. We did get a flashback of
yeah,
Lisa,
we did
and I was
see
like,
her.
the golden days.
We have Diana showing Kyle her bag. It's a $250,000 diamond clasp Birkin bag. And this confessional just like made me just like roll my eyes, where Diana, she just felt like it seemed like she thought she was going to get laughs when she goes, yeah, I'm saving, or oh, they showed the back of her car and she's like, I saved
During
the
the
Birkins, the
fires.
diamonds, and the Banksies.
Disgusting.
And yeah, like just how funny it is. And it's like that joke didn't land.
She is like the type of rich person that has no self-awareness of how like disgusting this type of wealth is. And especially in like the climate I feel like that we're in today, like we don't want to see this on our TV. This is gross. And everybody is just grossed out by this. We're not like, oh my God, I want to be like this. It's more like, this is actually disgusting.
You can be rich as fuck the way that she is. It's just the fact that in addition to being rich, she's like a loner in being rich. She does not have the social skills to then like be rich and likable. Because I think it's very easy to be like, oh, she has so much money, fuck her, out of jealousy. But I think more so, both viewers and even like the women alike, it's not the fact that she has so much money and can afford this $250,000 bag or whatever. It's just the fact that she's not likable.
Yeah, and it's almost like in a tone deaf way. Like you can be rich, even then you can like flaunt it to an extent, but the fact that you don't even like know how to act as a human being because you're so rich, like it's a turn off to watch. Like you can't connect with people when you act like this because you're not a normal person. Like this is not what normal people act like.
Yeah, Diana could leave now. That would be fine.
Yeah,
and here's
really
where it gets even more annoying for me, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, is when Diana and Kyle are talking about Diana's text, and it really feels like Kyle is like 100% on Diana's side with all of this.
This makes me want to rage out. Like this is peak Kyle. This whole episode at the end is like peak every reason why I hate Kyle. In one tiny little package at the last 15-20 minutes of this episode, it's like, oh, here's every single reason why I fucking hate this person, all wrapped up into one. We get to see it all displayed right in front of us. And she's just, her true colors really have been showing this season specifically. I don't know what it is that's changed, if she's just like not trying to hide it anymore, or she just got too drunk this episode and is just really showing either where her allegiance is, or the fact that she's just trying to produce a show or throw her friend under the bus. And everybody got together before the season and said, we're going for Sutton this season, so get on board. And she's pushing that train along. I don't know what it is, but this is like season 1 and 2 Kyle, where she's just a vile Kyle.
Yeah, it just seemed like everything that was brought up that Sutton had talked to Kyle about first, that Kyle just did a complete 180 when talking to Diana and did not have Sutton's back at all. I mean, even something as elementary as the sit in your own, like your first seat so that you wouldn't have to sit next to her. Like Kyle was there for that. Kyle was the one who Sutton like told first while they were on the plane.
Right.
So,
and she's there cackling about it.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It was, when I saw this, it's just like, oh, you're doing what you're accusing Crystal of doing, which is like to suck up to the head girl in a way where sure, Kyle is the OG and all this, but Diana has the most money right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kyle is jealous of Diana's wealth. Like,
Yep.
Kyle's rich, Diana's wealthy. And Kyle just comes off as just like wanting to be close to Diana through all of this. And it's like, you are clearly choosing the wrong side here.
Oh, yeah. And I think this goes back to kind of like the way, and this is maybe me just assuming a lot of things, but this feels like this is just how Kyle was brought up with her mom, because I don't know if you know any of like the lore behind Big Kathy and how she raised the kids, but like she always like, I'm going to say pimped them out for lack of a better term, but like whatever, you know, she didn't actually pimp them out, but like was introducing them to older rich men to try and like get them to become wealthy and people of status. And Kim was a child star and Kyle was a child star. And it was all about like money and wealth and trying to like get into that like upper echelon of society. And this is like Kyle turning on like everything I feel like that she probably learned from her mom to suck up to Diana, who's like the next, she's multiple steps above Kyle in terms of wealth and status.
No, it makes sense. It just was very, between this and the upcoming conversation, both of them was just like, what are you doing? Why are you acting this way?
She's disgusting to me as a person. And also it's like, I know I'm going to have plenty more to say toward the end, but it just is so funny to me because it's like these people on this show, these women, the Fox Force 5 specifically, are so hell-bent on blaming, and I know I come across as Lisa Vanderpump stan, and I am, but like they are so hell-bent on blaming everything on Lisa Vanderpump being Sniper from the Side and doing all these storylines. What is Kyle doing? Kyle is not good at, maybe Lisa Vanderpump did that because she was good at being on the show and she knew how to move the show along. Kyle's doing it right in front of everybody's face, and there's nobody that she can blame it on because we're seeing it happen.
I would absolutely love for, instead of a 3-episode end of season reunion, give me like a halfway through the season reunion. I want Garcelle. I want Sutton. I don't really care what Crystal say about this. Like, but especially those two, like I want their reactions now. And that conversation now, as opposed to like 3 months from now or whatever, where I'm sure something else goes down and this doesn't seem like as big of a thing. But like, why is
we get an after show for Beverly Hills? Because I know they have an after show for some of them. Like Atlanta has one I just saw the other day. I don't know where you watch them. I guess on Bravo.
I know
there
what
might
you're
be
talking
after
about.
shows where they like interview the housewives. I'm gonna look and see.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen the ones where it's like the two, like they'll have like two housewives sitting in a room.
Yeah.
But even then, I need someone holding Kyle accountable.
Same. Absolutely. Same.
Before we get into the big Sutton Diana talk, there's a Soul Train line where Kyle did your favorite thing, which is the splits. And
this is truly everything that I hate about Kyle. Like I said, wrapped up into it. It's the splits. It's the hair. I mean, I don't know if she did the hair this episode, but she did it on the boat in Mexico. And I'm just like, this woman, she like can't help herself. She can't help. It's like embarrassing.
And she was like laying on the floor, like swinging her legs.
Vagina lips touching the ground.
And I just wrote like, imagine this happening at Ramona's birthday party.
This is pretty amazing. Also, if anybody else was dancing like that who Kyle didn't like if Sutton were dancing like this, or Garcelle or Crystal, imagine the storyline this would have turned into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then Sutton asked to talk to Diana, and I didn't exactly write at the beginning of the conversation. I think I was like writing my reaction. So here's something that I didn't like about this. I didn't like that Sutton starts off with, sorry you were on bed rest, but why are you here? Type of thing. Like, one, you're not sorry.
Yeah. Right.
However, Sutton has a point of like, aren't you supposed to be on bed rest? Right. Don't try to frame it the way like, oh, you're sorry that she's going through this, because you're clearly not. You're absolutely not. You do not care in the slightest. But Diana
Well,
tells
I don't
Sutton,
know. Do you think so? I don't know if I get that from.
absolutely.
I don't know if I get that from Sutton.
I don't think she cares that Diana is on bed rest, because her goal in this conversation was to call her out for being there. Like,
It's true.
if you cared about her being on bed rest, there's a way that you can have this conversation that doesn't come across the way that it does. You could pull her to the side and just be like, "Hey, I'm genuinely confused. Like, are you okay?" Like, it, there's just like a tone you can do about it, but
Yeah.
this whole, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're on bed rest, but if you're on bed rest, why are you here?" That, just the way it was done. Like, I do agree with Diana that this is the son. If you want to bring up a point and you want to be a bitch about it, just be a bitch about it. Don't hide behind this fake
That's fair.
apology. It's, to me, it was like, just be direct. But we don't get a ton of direct out of most of these women until it's too late. So Diana tells Sutton not to do the phony shit with her. Diana's done being nice. Diana tells Sutton she's the fakest person she's ever met and that she's boring. So now this is where I'm like, okay, Diana, fakest ever? But also, I just don't think that Diana really has to like interact with many people. She's like,
I also feel like this is just, she's going a little too hard, because nothing has actually happened between the two of them.
Right. And Diana says she tried to open up to Sutton, and Sutton was fake in response and only talked about herself when they were on the boat, which I don't think that's true. This.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I think it's more so that Sutton tried to show that, like, oh, I've gone through something similar.
Yeah.
But
I've lost someone unexpectedly, and it's really hard. Yeah, you don't get to say goodbye. Like, it felt like she was trying to relate to her, not make it about herself.
It's one of those things where once someone annoys you enough, everything they do annoys you. And I think that's where Diana is with Sutton.
Yeah.
Where all you do, like, if she had framed that as, I tried to open up to you and you turned and made it about you, instead of just being like, oh, I'm so sorry that you've experienced this loss, I think that's a far more valid argument. But to say that she's like fake in that is, that doesn't exactly make sense.
No.
And so Sutton says that she's very real and feels that Diana is projecting. And this is when Kyle shows up, as well as Garcelle. So they kind of like spot from across the room that, like, oh shoot, it seems like things are getting intense over there. So Kyle
goes over. This is where I knew we were taking a really dark turn.
Garcelle goes over. Diana tells them that she told Sutton that Sutton is boring. And then Diana goes, I want to know what problem you have with me, Garcelle. So Sutton says this is a very different Diana, so the bed rest must have done her good. And Garcelle chuckles. I did appreciate her saying that, because there is some hypocrisy in this, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
You can't like make a scene in the group chat that you have to be on bed rest and then show up.
No. And like, you're not only are you showing up, but like, you're showing up with your husband, you have your $250,000 bag, you're like having a drink. It's like, are you okay? You're coming in with like a lot of negative energy around. It's just like it's weird.
And then Diana brings up the bacon eating vegetarian thing again, which I'm so sick of.
I like can't. And then Kyle's like, no, it does matter. Drunk ass Kyle was like, no, it does matter. And I'm like, if this bitch is really going to harp on Sutton for being a bacon eating vegetarian, like, I swear to God, I can't. This is the point where I'm like, I need to not ever watch this show again. Like, I can't. Beverly Hills is like almost over for me. I can't do it anymore.
In the future, it's going to be me monologuing about Beverly Hills, and then Katie will join halfway through. So
you and Nitro will cover.
My dog isn't even in the room right now. No one will do this with me. Usually he is, but these fucking 5:30 p.m. fireworks. So Sutton calls Diana a fucking asshole and says, good luck with your passive aggressiveness. And Diana says that she was just aggressive, which we've already talked about and said we disagree with. And then I wrote, why does Kyle need to be here? I don't even know if Kyle said anything important, but just felt like everything she was chiming in with seemed like it was Team Diana. And
no
she was
question.
in the middle of shit she didn't need to be in the middle of. Like,
This is Kyle. She gets in the middle, she stirs the pot, she thinks she's a producer, and she sees some kind of drama going on, she has to be there to kind of like move it along because she thinks she's like the story writer here.
mm-hmm. And Sun calls Diana a soulless person, and this is where Kyle draws the line. Is like, Sun, you shouldn't be saying
before
that.
this, Diana called Sutton frail and old.
I didn't even hear
which
that.
is like so rude. That is so rude. First of all, I think they're probably around the same age.
Yeah.
What does
okay, good. Because I was going to say, I don't remember what Diana's last name is. Oh, shit. We're in the same predicament.
Wait, Diana Real Housewives. Diana Jenkins, right.
I was going to guess it began with a P, so I was off.
She's 49.
Sutton is...
Oh, and Sutton's 50. So,
I was going to say...
Frail and old, you're the same age. You're literally the same age.
I was going to guess 52, but yeah, okay.
Unbelievable.
I really don't think that Diana is used to interacting with people that are not paid to interact with her.
Yeah, I could see that.
She's able to surround herself with enough assistants, nannies, whatever support staff she needs. Like, those are the people she talks to. Mm-hmm. She has her husband, and like everything else is just these high-end rich people who don't necessarily want to be her friend as much as it is want her money.
Yeah. They're like yes people to her.
And then throw her into a situation where you need to be able, like, there's going to be conflict. That the resolution is going to be long and drawn out. Unless she's like never watched a season of this before, then what the fuck were her people getting her into?
I would be surprised.
Even if she hasn't, like, her people should be watching it. Just like they fly ahead and prepare, like, watch a season or two ahead of time.
Right.
So, yeah. Sun says Diana's a soulless person. Kyle says Sun shouldn't say that. And Diana has the line of, if you need a new villain, here I am.
Yeah, her claim to fame.
Yeah. And that's like where that conversation ends. I'm sure it won't be the actual end of the conversation because we got a to be continued on this. But before we get to the to be continued, Erica gets another margarita from the bartender when it seems like she was cut off. Where it's like,
I don't really know what was going on there. Yeah.
Get me the margarita. Like, it made it seem, or maybe like they did last call already or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But she like seemed to like talk her way into getting another one, which is something she definitely didn't need. And then it comes up that Denise never showed up for Garcelle's birthday, and Erica seemed to take this the most personally.
Yeah, super personally.
Like, she's fucked you 3 times, Garcelle. And Garcelle was just kind of like, calm down, killer. Yeah, like, it's gonna be okay.
Let's chill.
So I'm hoping that because it's Garcelle, it's gonna be like a one-off of she sorts this with Denise. I don't want it to become like Denise isn't even on the show. We do not need a Denise bash fest.
I think we're good on that. And I also think Garcelle and Sutton had lunch with Denise and like posted pictures on social media not that long ago. Obviously, way after this was. So I think that everything is fine with them, or as fine as it's going to be, I guess, with them.
Yeah.
Like, Denise isn't on the show. They need to give up hating these women that are not on the show anymore. That like were against their alliance. It's so ridiculous.
There's 7 other people on your cast. Like, it's literally you and 7 others. Find someone within that group to have your shit with.
Yeah. Going back
Diana
right. Well, going back to Diana and Sutton with Kyle there, I felt like Kyle was super aggressive with Sutton for no reason. And I know she was obviously very drunk, but she was like really putting her hands on her a lot. And you see it more in the preview that came out. But like, I don't know how Sutton didn't lose her shit on Kyle. Like, time to switch the radar from Diana to your friend over here, Kyle, who is clearly throwing you under the bus even more than anybody else. Like, obviously she's not on your side here and she's just here to back up Diana.
It makes me mad that like none of the other ones, even Garcelle in that instance, being like, Kyle, stay out of their fucking business. Like, where's anyone to hold Kyle accountable? Because I feel like Kyle would be the first one to chime in and be like,
yep,
no, this is them, or I don't know.
Yeah. She's just so
it
transparent these days. It's
yeah,
rough.
I'm sick of producer Kyle. I was just thinking about it when I can't remember, maybe it was when like the theme song came on or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't care if she was gone next season or
Oh,
her or
please.
her. I was like, literally the only one that I want back is Garcelle. Everyone else could go.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I know we're questioning Sutton and what kind of person she is, obviously, since like some of the things came out about her. She makes a good housewife because she does get in the mix of a lot of things and she does cause a lot of the conflict. So even if she's like a villain, I'd be happy to see her back next season. And Garcelle, we need, obviously, she's the star of the show. Dorit, get her out, nothing. Lisa Rinna, unhinged. We'll talk about Lisa Rinna because there's a lot that's been happening off the screen this week. That's arguably more interesting or more
Yeah.
organic maybe than what's going on the show. And Rinna has to go. I mean, I don't see how Rinna can stay on this show after what's been going on social media throughout this whole season. Diana, out. We'll see what happens with Kathy. I mean, Kathy hasn't even been on the show yet, and what is this, the 8th episode?
Yeah.
This is crazy, and it's crazy. I mean, apparently there's going to be a huge storyline with Kathy. It's just like, what are we doing here?
I went to dinner on Wednesday with my friend who also watches Housewives, but she's behind on things. And I was telling her, I'm like, or first of all, she was like shocked that all of this was on Peacock. Cause I'm like, she's like, yeah, I just like don't have, my Bravo app doesn't work on my TV anymore. I'm like, well, just watch on Peacock. She's like, it's not on Peacock. Yep. I'm like, I watch this every fucking week on Peacock.
It is
like,
now.
Yes, it is. And so we're going back and forth. I'm like, also Miami is on Peacock. Have you watched Miami? And she's like, I'm not a Larsa Pippen fan. I'm like, still, she was on seasons 2 and 3, and like 2 is very good. I was like, and the best part about it is they don't do on there what a lot of this other seasons do. And she knew. She was just like, what, you mean take one issue and drag it out for the whole season? And I'm like, okay, so It's not just me and Katie. Like,
right.
You feel this way too.
Right. I mean, it's like there are episodes. I mean, there are franchises that don't do this. Atlanta doesn't do this. New York usually doesn't do this. Is that it? OC kind of does it. Beverly Hills definitely does it.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying Miami doesn't do it. Jersey kind of does it in some ways. It's just like, yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
And they need an extreme shakeup on this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care that Kyle's been there forever. You got rid of Vicky, you can get rid of Kyle.
Right.
We didn't get, at least I didn't get a preview. I don't know if there was one, except I've seen the things, or at least some of the things that were online today, just in terms of Erica yelling at Garcelle's youngest son, like, get the fuck out of here, which to me, I took it as like, what are you still doing here? You're a child. You shouldn't be here. But did not come across in any sort of joking way, was very aggressive, and Garcelle is not going to take to that lightly. So I saw that today. And a lot of backlash in terms of like, Dorit just sat there and let Erica say that. And if it was like Sutton saying that, or Garcelle saying that, or Crystal saying that to one of their kids, that like the Fox Force 5 or whatever would be on their asses for it.
Yeah. So I think, so it looked like in that clip, Erica was trying to hit on, his name Oliver?
Oliver's the oldest, yeah.
Yeah, was trying to hit on Oliver. Oliver was like, bye, see ya. And she was like, oh my God, he just shut me down. And then Garcelle's younger son, again, whose name is escaping me, and I apologize to him because he's obviously listening.
I feel like it's 2 letters. I don't know why. It's not PK,
I feel like it starts with a J.
I don't know.
Something? I don't know. I could easily look this up, but I'm just not going to. So it looks like he's coming to take the flowers. Like, it's the end of the party. And she just starts yelling at him to get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. And it's weird. It's like she just like goes off and it's just like, get the fuck out. And in the confessional, Dorit is saying like, oh, like I'm sick to my stomach. This is not my kid. But then there's another preview of Kyle. Did you see this preview of Kyle and Dorit and Mauricio and PK talking about this?
I saw that it existed. I didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, Anyway, Garcelle comes in and is like, Erica, what the fuck? Like, don't talk to my kid like that. And then she leaves. I guess she realizes like Erica's drunk off her ass. And she's like, you hurt my son's feelings. Like, what the fuck? And she goes out and she's like, this is not okay. Like, she's not okay that she's talked to you like that, which it's not okay. Like, just don't even engage. Why are you engaging with a 14-year-old? Like, it's fucking weird. So then we get a clip of Kyle and Mauricio and Dorit and PK from this week's episode talking about it. And Mauricio is like, oh, I'm glad Erica went off on Garcelle's son. Like, I'm glad. She deserves to blow up. Like, she needs a good blow up. I'm glad she did that. And they're all laughing about it. And they're saying like, this is so funny that she did that. And then Kyle's in her confessional saying like, yeah, I know she went off on a 14-year-old, but like Erica deserves this like loose, you know, we really are finally seeing the real her, and it's like amazing that we get to see this of her. Like, yeah, I get she went off on Garcelle's son, but like at least, you know, we're getting to see the real her. And it's like, what? Like defending Erica's right of yelling at a 14-year-old kid, and like Dorit and PK are laughing about it. So I think Queens of Bravo or somebody tweeted to Garcelle and was like, did you see this clip? And Garcelle was like, no, I didn't, with like an angry face. Like, didn't know that this happened until just now, with an angry face. So like Garcelle's obviously pissed. And Kyle's posting about it in Instagram comments, because Queens of Bravo on Instagram posted the clip and said, preview, Kyle, Dorit, Mauricio, and PK laugh off Erica yelling at Garcelle's son. Am I in the fucking Twilight Zone? This is a prime example why they call them the mean girls, because they don't have the same energy for one of their own that they have for literally everybody. This has been one of their kids, they'd lose their goddamn minds. Which Queens of Bravo I think is like historically a pro Kyle account. And Kyle responded and said, I was laughing about a friend's drunken ridiculous behavior, not about disrespecting someone's child. I think you know me better than that by now. I wasn't even there to see this and only heard about Erica and what she had said later. But it seems like people are really coming for them, like hardcore coming for them. Plus Erica's being a little bit of a racist, I think, in this clip where she's yelling at, it just comes off as like a very like, get the fuck away from me. It just like, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. It felt very microaggression-y. Are we forgetting that Erica also screamed at Eileen for even saying it's not like someone killed your kid? And you're like, you don't know what I got. But you're literally yelling at a 14-year-old young black boy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. No.
And then these dumb bitches are laughing about it. It's just like so wild to me.
I am excited to see next week's episode in a way, because I don't know. But the thing is, like, it's not going to shake up any of these like allegiances that are a stand. No. And that's what, like, we're not going to
see it play out on the show, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, there's also another preview, and I don't know if you saw this one, of the continuation of Kyle and Sutton. I mean, I'm sorry, Diana and Sutton with Kyle there. And Kyle's really putting her hands on Sutton, like holding Sutton in place because she's trying to leave, won't let her leave. And Sutton is saying like, I had 2 miscarriages. Like, I can relate to you. I'm trying to be empathetic to you. And Kyle was like, you never told me you had miscarriages. And basically is saying like, she literally said, this sounds like bullshit. With all due respect, this sounds like bullshit. And is questioning the fact that Sutton had miscarriages. It's like, why does everyone have to tell you their reproductive history, ma'am?
I know.
I don't think so. Especially if it happened years and years ago. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. We really are seeing Kyle's true colors here.
You know what's crazy is like this whole episode happened and there wasn't even any Lisa Rinna involved.
Well, I think that's why Lisa Rinna was really going off on social media, because we also got this. I mean, it's just like the amount of stuff that's playing out on the internet is just so wild. So Garcelle was on Watch What Happens Live. And was asked a question about Diana and the Black content creator comment that she made. And she said Diana is crazy and she's uneducated. That's what she said about Diana. And Diana went on this whole, I'm not going to read the whole post. I'm not going to find it. But went on this whole rant on Instagram toward Garcelle, saying, why don't you tell everybody how I went to your home country and you went and gave money to your people and blah, blah. Like, basically was like being a white savior and was full of microaggressions and essentially racism toward the people of Haiti and toward Garcelle. And people rightfully called her out about it. I think Ebony even made a video about it. Ebony from Real Housewives of New York made a video about it. And Lisa Rinna made a post saying, oh, we can't fight with Garcelle because if we fight with Garcelle, then we're racist. And if you don't like it, then you should just go watch Real Housewives of Dubai. Or all of you pussies should go watch Real Housewives of Dubai. So then the women of Real Housewives of Dubai were like, why are you mentioning our names? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think one of them, I think Chanel Ayan said, Africa called, they want their lips back. I mean, these women are really coming for Rinna. And I didn't see anything from Rinna back to them. But then someone else said something to Rinna saying, like, I hope the black girls find you at BravoCon in the bathroom without your entourage or something like that. And Rinna's like, oh, the black people are threatening to kill me. Basically, she didn't say that, but she was like, oh, now I'm getting threatened. And it's just like, please just stop. Just stop talking. Just stop. Like, it's just the racism coming out of these women openly on social media is so wild to me that I don't know how these people are going to continue being on the show after this season. This reunion, if Andy doesn't cover the stuff, then I'm never watching the show again. I have to say.
Let's start tweeting at him now. Andy.
He never brings the heat to these Beverly Hills ladies, and if he doesn't do it this season, this show is just a sham.
We might have to replace them with Dubai. And we don't even stand for Dubai.
We don't even stand for them. I do like the ladies. Some of the ladies, though, I will say.
Yeah. If it wasn't taking place in Dubai, I would watch.
Yes. Same.
Like if it was Real Housewives.
It's a little boring.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched since first episode. Love Island.
I watched the first and second, and that's it.
Been far more interesting to me. Before we get into Ultimate Girls Trip, because I am like fed up with Ultimate Girls Trip, I do want to bring up something that I think you will find interesting, and it'll be like a nice little. So we have our like bread of Beverly Hills and Ultimate Girls Trip, but then like a little bit of fun in between.
Yeah,
I have only watched. I don't even know if I've finished the first episode yet of New Jersey.
Yes, I'm dying to talk to you about this.
But fucking Teresa and whoever going with binoculars to spy on their friend's blind date who was having phone sex with this guy for 2 years. Yeah, I don't know the names yet of who's who. I obviously just know Teresa. And when she like calls them and is like, how soon can you be here? And they're like, we're here right now.
Yeah.
That and Teresa paying for her furniture. I texted you this, like in $120,000 of just cash.
Yeah, that should have been the first sign that maybe something's wrong here.
Yeah,
this is not a normal thing.
This is people put that on their credit cards and like pay that down.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see the evolution of Teresa. It's a lot. I'm excited for you to meet Danielle Staub. I'm excited. I'm just excited for you. Caroline Manzo. Let me tell you one thing about my family. Yeah, these women are, I just love New Jersey. I wish it was back on my screen. Maybe I'll do a rewatch.
Sorry, I'm trying to respond to a text at the same time as answer you, and it's not working. No, I'm hungry. Let's eat. Okay. So, yeah, I'm only an episode in. I'm balancing that and keeping current with Love Island, but yeah, the money and then them just like jumping in the back of the car. Also, Teresa's hair is god awful.
Oh my god, yeah, it's
season
awful.
1.
It's awful.
So I'm definitely enjoying
Her forehead is like 1 inch thick. It's crazy.
I don't even know if I've noticed that. I'll look for it in the next episode. The person I was telling you was hungry was Lavelle. I was planning on watching some Real Housewives tonight, but he won't watch that. So hopefully he falls asleep quickly because we've had a very busy last few days, and then I'll turn Real Housewives on. Perfect. That's the hope. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping like how this first season, obviously not knowing all like the background, made it a little bit tougher. But what is like peak New Jersey season to you? Now you don't have to tell me like a number, but I guess like time frame. Like is it the first couple of seasons? Is it like 4, 5, 6-ish? Like because we just watched season 12, I think.
I think it was 12, yeah. Okay, so there's different eras of New Jersey, right?
Okay.
The beginning is the Danielle Staub era. That's season 1 and 2, which is peak in itself because honestly, season 2 is probably the best season, I'll say.
Okay. Is that who went on the blind date?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Engaged 19 times. So when you get
I
to the end
texted
of
you
season
that
1,
too.
yes, and then you see what happens in season 2. I mean, that's like truly, truly peak Housewives, like peak New Jersey.
hmm
But then after that, you get the Melissa and Joe of it all because they come in season 3, and that turns the whole thing upside down, and like that's peak in a whole other way. So
Okay.
I would say from 1, because 1 is great in its own right. Not as you get a little bit less Teresa in season 1, but it ends with that's peak Teresa. And then season 2 is just incredible. And then season like 3, 4, 5 is different but very good. I'm trying to remember what happens in 6. 6 is, I think, fine. Oh no, 6 might be the one right before Teresa goes. There's a season where we get like a cast shakeup, and there are like twins and Jim Marchese, who's literally the worst person that's ever been on television in the entire universe of Bravo and just television in general. And so that season, a lot of people skip it. I say watch it. Dina comes back, which is nice. But I say watch that season because it's a mess. It's just trashy mess. But then
I'm not going to skip anything. That's
okay. Great.
I
would say don't. It's not a good season, but it's like worth watching.
I've
And then I
my
think 7 is where Dolores comes.
Okay.
And then
she's
that
only
it's
been
a
around
peak.
since 7.
Yeah. But you see her, she
Okay.
pops in the earlier seasons because she's friends with Caroline Manzo. And then you get from there, and then Siggy Flicker is a whole nother mess in itself, and Margaret is on. That's when Margaret comes on. So like it just like it ebbs and flows really nicely. There's a lot of different eras of New Jersey, but peak is season 2. I mean, that's like all-time all-star Housewives season.
Okay, that's good to know. That has me even more motivated to watch it because I've now put this off for 2 different things between Love Island and Miami. Although Miami was fucking worth it. Love Island also worth it in a different way. It's also and I did it with All Stars season 2, but I mean, as you know, and as our dedicated listeners know, I've basically only been watching Real Housewives for like the last year.
No, you need a break.
So it's been nice, but even just this first episode, like where it's not just Teresa defending Louis and everything.
It's so
like,
different.
It's a different thing, and like overall, that I mean, like I was texting you about it. I'm like, I've only watched 10 minutes, but
the thing about the early seasons of Jersey is that Teresa isn't the only main character. She becomes the main character, but she's not the only main character, which is why it's fun to watch, which is why I think we need a little bit of a shakeup in New Jersey. Like we need more matriarchs of the show, because Caroline Manzo really is like the matriarch of the show. I don't want her back, but I do think that she was a good, like a formidable adversary to Teresa, just because she also was like an OG. She had a big personality. Like I just think they were good on the show together, because it wasn't all about Teresa. Now it's only Teresa. Teresa's the only storyline.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. I will be watching that soon. Maybe even tomorrow night.
I'm excited about that.
All right. So now we get to Ultimate Girls Trip. And it starts with Brandy texting Eva, apologizing for calling Eva's husband a mangina, which they have a conversation about. Huh?
Her missing fingernail.
I didn't even notice.
Oh my God. So gross. It was so gross.
And Brandy tries to like say that calling Eva's husband a mangina is actually a compliment because he steps up and does, like womanly, motherly roles, which is 2022. We don't believe in those anymore, Brandy. And Eva is just like, I'm confused. You confused me. You didn't hurt me. And I think Eva has a good sense of like who Brandy is, and just knows like, listen, she set the boundary. Like, don't talk shit about my husband. I'm not going to hold this over you because I know who you are. But like, this is my warning shot. The next time, don't try it.
Yep.
We find out that Taylor's going to throw a tea party that afternoon, and then Dorinda is having a prohibition dinner that night. But first, we have to do some Dorobics. So there is some shit that goes down pre-Dorobics.
I'm already taking a deep breath.
I don't know if I should ask you this question now or later. So I think I'm going to do it now just to get into it. Because because we've only talked about this once so far, because I did the first 3 episodes at once, that when I was like, I don't need Dorinda back. And you were like, I was like, I think the only one I would really want back is Tamra and Eva. And you're like, not Dorinda? has your opinion changed about having Dorinda back?
I never want to see Dorinda on my screen ever again.
I don't even want to see her for the rest of this fucking
No,
series.
me neither. I'm so done with Dorinda. I never want to see her again on my television. I can't. Between what happens at the beginning, the bookends of this episode, she is a monster. She's a monster. She's not fun to watch.
She, like, it's not my place to say that if someone has a drinking problem, but I think Dorinda would benefit from drinking less. Although we see her go off on Tamra sober.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was first. I think she has an accountability problem.
Mm-hmm.
She flies off the handle. She's just filled from her feet to the top of her head with rage, and she cannot control herself. And it's not even like she rages out and then apologizes and is like, that's right, I was uncalled for. She doubles down. Yeah. She is awful. She's awful.
So, like, it was okay when she was, like, going off on Vicky for being anti-vax. Yes. Because, like,
and that was also kind of funny.
Yeah, like, we agree with you. But now when it comes down to something where literally everyone in the house, they've showed us every single person in the house has had food in their bedroom, worn their shoes upstairs, and Dorinda goes off on Tamra specifically for this, when also Dorinda provided them cupcakes in their room. So
why are you giving them cupcakes in the room if you don't want them to eat in their room? It doesn't make any sense. Also, don't host people at your home if these are the kind of rules that you have.
Right. And it's not like Tamra isn't mad that she's being told to not eat in her room. Tamara's mad about how she's being spoken to. And Dorinda, that just flies completely over Dorinda's head. To which, like, to me, I thought Vicky would be the monster of this season. Vicky does have a sense of, like, she knows she's being rude to people when she is. Yeah. And she just, like, doesn't care that she is. But she isn't like that with everyone. And she will, like, talk about her actions and behaviors. Maybe not necessarily with the person she hurt, but, like, Tamra can easily jump in and be like, Vicky, blah, blah, blah. Right. No one can do that with Dorinda.
No, if you jump in with Dorinda, I feel like she just flies even more off the handle.
Yeah. So in case you didn't watch and you just listened to us because you love us so much, which I know we have at least one person like that, Valencia, our girl.
Shout out to Valencia.
We love you very much. That kind of described it, but essentially Vicky and Tamara are standing there and Dorinda brings up, like, yeah, you had food up in your room, which was funny because also, like, Marco, the host guy,
is bringing them food.
And Dorinda's like, there's plaques that say the rules. Did you not see this? And she is just going off on her. She is yelling at her like Tamara is a child and Dorinda is like an awful parent. Her. Yes. It's just, it was uncomfortable. And Tamara starts crying, which, like, I feel like if you're making Tamara cry,
yeah,
Tamara to me can take a lot. And
oh yeah,
you're making Tamara cry. It's just, I don't know. So I'm just gonna run through this to see if there's anything that I didn't say or you haven't said yet. But Tamara, like, she said, like, I got it, and Dorinda says that it's condescending that Tamara is telling her that she understands the rules when clearly she's breaking them. And then,
which is, like, literally the most ass backwards. Like, you are literally screaming in this woman's face right now, and you're telling her that she's being condescending because she said, I got it. You don't need to get the plaque.
And Tamara starts crying. Dorinda says that she doesn't think that Tamara is actually crying over this. And you even hear Dorinda say, like, I can't believe you're crying over, like, you breaking a rule or having food in your room. And Tamara's like, no, I'm crying because of how you spoke to me. And Dorinda just doesn't get it.
No. And then she goes, well, I'm going to start to cry. Oh, I'm going to start crying because you ate in my room. And then starts mocking her and fake crying.
It was so stupid. And it wasn't stupid in the way that, like, I should take that back. Tamara had every right to feel the way she did. And Dorinda is a problem.
She's a beast. She's a beast. I will say Vicky did kind of make me laugh in this scene, though, because Vicky obviously got away with this for some reason, even though Vicky was the one that was really eating a lot in the room. And Tamara was like, oh, well, these are questions I can't answer. Or, you know, like, she was just basically like, yeah, I don't know, I'll get back to you. Because Dorinda was like, do you allow people to do this in your home? And she was like, no. And she's like, then why do you do it in mine? She's like, it's a good question. I don't really have an answer for that. And I just thought it was funny. See, these are the times where I'm like, okay, see, I don't hate Vicky, but like I do fundamentally hate Vicky. But in some of these moments where she's a little funny, like I don't hate her.
Yeah, she has her glimmers of like, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand completely why she's good TV. It's just watching this was, I don't want to say it was uncomfortable, but there's such like a lack of self-awareness from Dorinda's part, and it just kind of like tracks back to like Dorinda saying, oh, I'm on pause, I wasn't fired, I'm on pause, where Tamra is sitting there being like, I would love to be back on this show, you know, and like Dorinda just not having that awareness of like, no, how do you think that your behavior in this is going to get you back on? No one wants to deal with you. But I did love that Marco got a confessional and he was like, I didn't know that these rules applied to this event.
Yeah, which honestly, I understand, Marco, because why are you hosting like 7 women in your home and not allowing them to wear shoes upstairs and eat in their rooms? Of course they're going to eat in their rooms.
Yeah. And they show like the compilation of people having food in their rooms throughout the first 3-ish days, however long they've been there. But yeah, we had a pretty intense scene to start it off. And it was in this where I'm just like, they're not even drunk. Like, this is sober. This is first thing in the morning. So you can't even say like, well, Dorinda gets this way when she's drinking. She's a monster when she's sober, and she just flies off the handle. And like, not that flying off the handle is a bad thing, but the way Dorinda has, and almost every day, multiple times, like, I can understand losing your shit when you are hosting people, you're trying to do the best for everyone, and people will like kind of fuck it up for you. But this is uncalled for, and to do it as frequently as she has or whatever, like, I could see one meltdown, but like one meltdown an episode, sometimes two.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know really what to say about it. And I also think that like, if you are this type of person, as Dorinda is, and you are refusing to see what other people are saying about you, and you're refusing to take accountability and learn and grow as a person, fine. Maybe in an isolated one season, oh, you know what? Like, I didn't realize that I really was this way, but I watched myself and I was disgusted by my behavior. Oh no, she is like this every single season that she's been on the show, only to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And she still has no accountability for it whatsoever and thinks she does nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That's the wildest part to me. Like, how can you watch yourself? Because you know she's watching herself. How can you watch yourself and then like make this type of rage your brand instead of being like, yeah, I'm actually a disgusting person.
Yeah. And she gets away with it because like you can't fight against it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, this all led up to Dorobics, and Tamra and Vicky skip it because in part of the argument, Dorinda said like, okay, don't come to aerobics then, and Vicky was, or not Vicky, but Tamra was like, fine, and Vicky stayed with her. So just to start off, it was only Brandy and who else was there on time? Taylor?
Jill.
No, Jill. Yes, Brandy and Jill show up on time. Eva and Taylor arrive late, and then Phaedra shows up even later. While this is happening, we like go up to Tamra and Vicky, and they're pointing out all the things they've done wrong in their bedroom, like makeup on the pillow, and here's this, and they like point out a leaf on the stairs and everything. Yeah. But
and to be fair, Dorinda said, you know what, don't come.
Yeah.
She did say don't come.
Yeah. Dorinda tells the women, make sure you tell Vicky and Tamra how much fun they had. Or
this looks miserable, like, by the way. This doesn't look like any fun at all. Would you want to do Dorobics?
No. Well, I mean, first of all, the outfits in themselves were too much for me to ever wear. But
yeah.
A trampoline for me is just like a sprained ankle waiting. So
yeah.
No.
I also just like wouldn't want to just wake up and start working out first thing in the morning. Like the regimented scheduling of this is bothering me, I think, as a person who just wants to go with the flow. I feel like I would feel extremely overwhelmed, and I'm an introvert. I would need some like alone time. I would need to just chill and decompress. And I feel like being in this house doesn't give you any chance to decompress. And then if you don't do an activity, you risk like the full rage of Dorinda. So it's like it's a little intense.
Yeah.
to imagine yourself in the situation.
No, I would never want to do this.
No.
I had people here for 2 days and I was ready for them to go. So
Yeah. Yeah.
no thanks. After Dorobics, we get Jill and Phaedra coming up to Vicky and Tamara's room. Jill says Dorinda lets you have it and then she lets it go. And Eva was funny. She like walks up and hears that they're talking about this and she's like, nope, I'm social distancing from this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Following the CDC guidelines.
Yes. So it is a little funny that Jill is kind of like defending Dorinda based off of what we see happening later. But
yeah.
A little funny. So on the way to the tea party, it was funny as like they're choosing what cars to go in. Tamara sees Dorinda go into one and Tamara's like, definitely going in the other.
Yeah.
So in Dorinda's car, she says that she feels Tamara and Vicky are very close and then there's just the rest of them. And
well, she perpetuated that also by putting them in the same room.
Right.
Separate them.
You could have split them up.
Right.
So, also part of it is like, how do you make friends when you're constantly yelling at people?
Yeah. I don't know. When you're like bullying people into doing activities, I don't think anybody would want to. And like you say one thing in the wrong tone or something and you get just like berated, I would be afraid to be your friend too.
Yeah, I just felt it's hard to sympathize for Dorinda here because you do see the other women becoming friends. Like Eva's become friendly with Brandy and Taylor, especially. Yeah. Like Phaedra is kind of seems to be the voice of reason throughout the house, and yeah, so like people are definitely becoming friends, just not with you, Dorinda, because you've been mean.
Well, I also think it's hard because she's also playing the role as like host and cast member. Yeah. I know we kind of talked about this. Like, it just doesn't feel like it makes sense to have Dorinda on the show as a cast member, but also the host of the weekend. Like, they probably should have done it somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And we get a confessional from Brandy saying that Dorinda, Tamara, and Vicky feel like they're having a Housewives off, which I didn't think it felt like that.
No, I didn't think about it like that.
Incredibly on Tamara's side with this, and like I guess by default Vicky's side. So obviously it wasn't there in the moment, but like it didn't feel like Tamara was just yelling or crying just to yell or cry. Right. I would have reacted the same way, and I'm not a housewife.
Yeah, neither am I, clearly.
Then Brandy and Jill say that Dorinda gets over things quickly, but Vicky doesn't. So we'll see how that plays out. But we get to the tea party, and Taylor says that this is her event. It's a recreation of her season 1 tea party. And while they're sitting down at the tea party, Taylor brings up Dorobics and everybody else saying that they were having so much fun and that they want to do it again the next morning. But Tamara clearly feels uncomfortable and she just wants an apology. So Phaedra gets the conversation going like, well, why didn't you guys go? And Tamara's like, oh, I just needed a moment. And Dorinda says that she took a lot of time planning this and that the food thing isn't that big of a deal. And Tamara is still trying to make her point, which I would just give up at this point. Like, good on you for continuing to try, Tamara, but she's like, it's because you attacked me, and Dorinda doesn't think that she attacked Tamara. And Dorinda thinks that Tamara and Vicky made a big deal out of nothing. Now, Eva jumped in here. What do you think of Eva jumping in?
I was a little surprised. Because she was like against Vicky here, right?
Yeah, she was kind of like, I don't know if she was necessarily Team Dorinda, but she did call out Vicky, being like, the only person who has conflict in this group is you, Vicky, and that you're very negative, which like is not true because has she not witnessed Dorinda's behavior? Yeah.
It's a little weird to me. I wouldn't get involved in this if it were me.
And Jill actually made that comment. She was like, I ate so many of these because I was keeping my mouth shut. I realized like you don't have to get involved in every fight.
No. Good for you, Jill.
I was about to say, yeah, good job, Jill. Way to go.
I actually enjoyed Jill this episode.
Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Dorinda saying that Vicky should have stayed out of it because it had nothing to do with her. And Vicky was like,
but it kind of did have something.
My food.
Yeah, it did have something to do with her. And they're in the same room. It's just wild.
Yeah. So Phaedra was just like, why don't we just have a do-over? And everybody accepts the do-over, which is kind of crazy that this is like all it took was Phaedra saying, let's have a do-over. And now everybody's
Peacemaker.
hugging everybody.
Phaedra Park's a peacemaker.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
On the way out, Dorinda claims to be the most loving person on their trip.
Okay.
If you guys aren't watching the video, Katie just made a face. It was worth seeing.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that.
After the tea party, they go home for their afternoon nap. And Vicky doesn't like that Dorinda lumps her and Tamara together because Dorinda was implying that, like, they talk for each other, they talk as one, and they both were like, we each have our own voice, which I definitely agree with. It just so happens that, like, they agree with each other. So,
well, yeah, and I think we've seen, like, Tamara wasn't defending Vicky during the vaccination thing.
Yeah. Or even when Vicky was like, I don't do these drugs, and Tamara's like, let's get high. Like, right, I sell CBD. Right.
Yeah, and even when Vicky went to urgent care or whatever, Tamara was around. She didn't go with her. Like, mm-hmm. I don't really agree.
Yeah. And then we have Vicky saying she doesn't feel welcome, which, I mean, I don't know if anybody really feels welcome at this
I wouldn't feel
point.
welcome. I would feel like I'm walking on eggshells in this house at all times.
Because you have to be barefoot.
There for 8 days, that's a long, yeah. First of all, okay, I know that this is a hot take because I know, or an unpopular opinion. I don't really like the term hot take, but I know it's an unpopular opinion that people don't like shoes in their homes. I get it. And I understand why. But when I go to someone's house and they're like, you have to take off your shoes, I don't want to take my shoes off in your home as a guest. This is not my home. I walk around my home without shoes on, sure. Mm-hmm. But like, it's uncomfortable for me to just comfortably take my shoes off in someone's home. And I know it's an unpopular opinion. I know I'm in the minority here, but like if I'm going to someone's home and they're like, oh, you have to take your shoes off at the door, I'm like, I fucking hate this. Like I feel like it's like an intimate thing to walk around with no shoes on in someone's home. I don't know. Is that weird?
No, I don't think it's weird. I get it. I haven't really thought of it in terms of that way. And I also feel like when people say don't wear shoes in my house, that they're also like, at least for themselves, they have like other shoes that they can wear, like house shoes or whatever.
Sure. And, like I wear slippers in my house for sure. Like I don't wear my shoes around my house. I wear slippers in my house. But if I'm coming to your house as a guest, it's like, one, I'm not like bringing stuff. Maybe I should be bringing my slippers around with me places.
I used to do that.
My shoes are part of my outfit.
Oh, that's the bigger thing. That was the point I was going to make. So I used to I bought house shoes because Lavelle and his roommates were big on like not having shoes on in the house, but like not to expose them too much. It's like 3 adult men who are like, especially right. 2 of them were throwing like parties a lot. That's just like, I don't want to be barefoot in here. I would rather wear my shoes. And so I started bringing house shoes to Lavelle's to wear. But the bigger thing that makes me mad is when I'm not expecting to take my shoes off and my shoes are like, what if I'm wearing weird socks? Or like, I just don't want you seeing what's underneath here. Like, let me, when they're a part of the outfit, it's like, oh, and especially like, that's the only place you're there. Like the only place you're going. It's like, I was expecting to have my shoes on. So.
Well, not only that, it's like maybe sometimes I'm not wearing like if I'm wearing sandals or something and I don't want to walk around your home barefoot because nothing bothers me more if I touch something and it's like wet and I'm not expecting it to be wet or if I like put my foot on something that feels weird. Like I don't want that. I want the protective barrier on the bottom of my foot to protect me from anything that could potentially come up here. And not to be like, oh, I'm going to people's houses where it's like grimy. I'm not. It's just like, please just let me wear my shoes. I don't like... Or provide me like a slipper that I can put on. No, but I don't want to wear someone else's slippers. I just like, I don't know. At least give me a warning. Just be like, hey, you're not allowed to wear shoes in my house. So like, don't make your shoes part of the outfit.
Yeah. No, I like when I know because then it's like, okay, I'm going to account for that. But I definitely
at least gives
agree.
Me an opportunity to wear socks that I know are okay to be seen by others.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not trying to walk around in my socks in someone else's house. I don't know. Maybe this is I just feel weird about it. I
prefer,
understand people don't want outside shoes
yeah.
inside your home. I get that. I'm not disagreeing with that, but there's got to be a better way that we could do this. Just give me a heads up and I'll bring slippers. That's the
Mhm.
only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Um, I I prefer to be barefoot, like, in general. I mean, like, I take my shoes off at the door at my place just because I, like, wanna be barefoot, but if I wore sneakers for the rest of the time, like, that'd be fine too. Also, part of it is, like, for me, if I'm sitting on my computer chair, the amount of times that I will, like, sit with my legs crossed, like,
Sitting like that
crisscross
right now.
applesauce.
Yep,
Yeah,
me too. I'm sitting like that right now.
that it's uncomfortable for me to wear shoes during that, so,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's why I'm barefoot a lot of the time. I also hate socks. I'm not a socks person.
Oh, see, I'm a socks person. I like
I'm
socks.
I feel like, my feet are, like, suffocated, and sometimes it gets a little chilly in here that, like, when I do have to put socks on because I want to sit crisscross but can't with, like, my house shoes. I don't know. It's just a whole conundrum.
Sometimes I purposely put shoes on to make myself not sit that way because I think I'm giving myself knee problems because I sit like that so often that my legs hurt. So I'm like, let me put shoes on to force myself to not sit that way because it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
That's my psyche. Because if I have a slipper, I'm just kicking my slipper off. But if I have a shoe on, I'm
Mhm.
not just like taking my shoe off. So sometimes I'll be like in this room and purposely put a shoe on just so I force myself to not sit that way. It's weird.
Okay, so I have 2 things to say.
Okay.
1, I saw a chair on TikTok that's, like, kind of expensive, but for someone who works from home, that I'm thinking of investing in it when I move next month, which, like, it's a chair that has, like, a shelf underneath the
Oh, I
chair
saw
part.
this. And you put
Yeah,
your
where
legs under.
you
I
could
was
put your
thinking about getting that
legs
chair too.
so you can,
Should
like
we both get it and then do a
I
review?
well, part of it is, and this relates into my second point of why I like knowing if I, like, have to wear shoes or don't have to wear shoes, whatever, is I'm fucking short. I can't reach the
Right.
ground from nearly any chair. Like, I
Yeah.
currently have a footrest um, for my feet, and that's comfortable most of the time. But even still, like, I'm just used to sitting cross-legged sometimes to, like,
Yeah.
give my legs a break from that. But I remember, like, my college boyfriend, I went to his house and I just, like, they had one of those kind of like a lazy boy, like the recliners. And for
Hmm.
me, I would always sit with my legs dangling over the armrest because it was more comfortable to
Hmm.
have, like, my knees supported there than to, like, dangle on the front part of the seat
Oh,
because,
yeah.
again, I'm so short. And, like, I remember my boyfriend at the time being like, my mom doesn't like that you sit like that. And it's like, I'm a fucking little person, like, legally. And
Yeah.
so I like to know, like, do I need to, how do I even, like, dress for your house? Because am I able to reach the ground? Because if I have to sit cross-legged, sitting cross-legged in jeans is a lot less comfortable. Or, like, I'm in shorts
Yeah.
right now and I'm okay with that because it's just me and no one else has to see these big ass thighs. But there's days I don't want people to see these big ass thighs,
Sure.
especially sitting, like, cross-legged like that, because it makes them look 3 times the size that they actually
Hmm.
are. And
Hmm.
it's like, these are things I need considered in for
Yes.
me so I know how to dress.
I feel like everybody should just give like a listen, here's a pamphlet of my home. This is what's expected. Dress accordingly. And I'd be like, okay, great. Like if I'm coming to a dinner party at your home, which I don't often do, but like I'm going to try and dress somewhat nice and my shoes are part of that outfit. So just tell me up front, no shoes in my home. I'll be like, okay, then I'm going to dress down a little bit because I'm not going to
Mhm.
put on a nice outfit and then have my shoes be part of the outfit and then have to take them off and look like a fool with fucking socks on and like a nice outfit on. Like that, then I'm just gonna dress down to make my outfit make sense with socks.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a shorts person. I don't wear shorts outside of the home. I don't even really wear shorts in my home. I'm always mostly covered.
I I have, like, 3 pairs of these very comfortable, um it, like, feels wrong to call them sweatpants, but they're, like, joggers that they're not like sweatpants material, they're lighter, and all 3 of them are dirty right now, and I didn't wanna wear, like, heavy sweatpants because it's
Yeah.
still 90 some it's, like, 90 something degrees out today, and but it's, like, cold in my room because of the air conditioning, so, like, I have a sweatshirt on because of how cold it is in my room, but if I take nitro out, I need to be, like, in lighter clothes.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
like, the athletic shorts are very much, like, in the house type of thing. Like, Brett is really the only person who has to be subjected to this, and I apologize. So
We were upstate this weekend and we went out. It was probably, I would say, in the high 80s, maybe 90 degrees outside. And I had black jeans on, a black t-shirt on, and like an oversized denim shirt that was open. And everyone's like, aren't you hot? And I'm like, it's my summer look. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It's just, yeah, I have sandals on. So that makes it summer. So that just goes to show like who I am as a person.
Yeah. I don't have any like skirts or like denim shorts. I only wear jeans out.
Yeah, no.
Jeans or leggings, but inside the house, I'll do shorts just for the ease of taking nitro out and not be like sweating to death or having to do like a full costume change.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
I don't even know where we at.
Is this a Housewives podcast?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Housewives sucks. We have to make it.
I know.
It doesn't suck as much as like I'm just sick of Dorinda and it's like ruining this experience for me. I can't imagine actually having like been there and had to tolerate this. Okay, so after the tea party, let's see. Oh, so Jill and Taylor are at the pool, and Taylor says that like on the way home, Dorinda got really vulnerable about Richard, and at this point, Jill says that Dorinda has gotten angrier, she's gotten older, and is taking out on the wrong people. Jill said that she used to reach out to Dorinda when Richard got sick and to be her friend, and then it feels like once Dorinda was on Housewives, Dorinda was dismissive of Jill, and so she kind of like gave her perspective on the evolution of Dorinda over the last few years. I did think she kind of like
brought her on the show to film.
Yeah, they showed that in one of the first few episodes.
They did. I thought it was interesting because Dorinda was on Watch What Happens Live this past week on Thursday, and she was talking about Ramona, and she said Ramona and her are not in a good place right now still, since filming ended when whatever Dorinda's last season was. But she's like, you reminisce and you get nostalgic because Ramona is the reason that I'm on the show. And I thought that was interesting, and it felt like a dig at Jill.
I don't know if there was like a gap between Dorinda starting, right?
Oh, there was a gap.
Yeah, so it would make sense that it was because of Ramona, and maybe like it feels like Jill was trying to include her while she was on the show. I don't know if it didn't seem to me like Jill was implying that she's the reason Dorinda was on there.
Yeah, I didn't think Jill was implying that, but it felt like Dorinda was kind of taking a shot at Jill, saying that she brought her on to film, and then she was like, Ramona's the reason I'm on Housewives again. It just seemed like an interesting time to say that.
Yeah. After this, we have the prohibition dinner. They're all dressed up in their 1920s outfits, and I did think it was funny that Vicky's heels kept getting stuck in the grass. That definitely made me laugh, like especially the last time they showed it when she's like, I can't be wearing these.
See, you have to tell people how to dress appropriately with their footwear.
That our rant makes perfect sense. It all ties in. We are a Real Housewives podcast after all.
We are. I could even talk more about footwear, but I'm not going to. Anyway.
Perfect. We will do a footwear podcast on another day.
I never realized I had so many opinions about this.
So they are doing bourbon tasting, and everyone kind of implies like, yo, bourbon messes me up in different ways. And Vicky goes from like being fun to like crying about Steve breaking up with her and where she's at in her life. And then like a burlesque dancer shows up. Tamara starts taking her clothes off and dancing. And the funniest part to this whole dinner to me was when Tamara was like grinding on Vicky, and Vicky goes, I don't know what to do with this information.
That was very funny. Sometimes Vicky's funny. And I'm not a Vicky defender by any means, but I think she's a good housewife, and I think when she is in the mood to whoop it up, she's fun to watch, and she was in the mood to whoop it up. This episode.
They even had Mark go down there dancing.
I don't know why we need these men on these Ultimate Girls Trip seasons that like get in the mix. That was like I was uncomfortable watching Marco dance.
Yeah,
I was like,
I didn't. It did not feel like he wanted to be there.
No, I didn't want him there.
Then after dinner, so Phaedra has to go away to like talk to her son and explain why his phone is being taken away, which I would have rather listened to that conversation about why.
Same. Her kids are so cute.
The phone's being taken away than like Dorinda hulking out again.
Yep.
So a couple of them are down in the like living room area, and Brandy comes down and like completely interrupts Dorinda's story. I think Dorinda was talking about how she knows Jill, and so Brandy's like, I want a party, and her and Tamara go to the kitchen. I think Taylor follows, like, so they're the three having a good time, and then everyone else is kind of like sitting in there. Eva goes to go to bed because she has a radio show in the morning, and Jill is like, can I be a guest on your show? And Eva's like, no, we're nationally syndicated. Like, this has to be a whole thing.
Or whatever.
And she's like, well, can I like sit on your bed and listen to you while you're recording your show?
I didn't feel like this was so offensive.
Yeah, me neither. Like, it went, I mean, if I would have been like, yeah, if you want to come in for a half hour or whatever, like, come listen. I can't imagine that you would want to sit there because, like, you can't hear I'm assuming she's wearing headphones, so you can't hear the other end of it. But, like, if Jill wants to come in for 30 minutes before breakfast and not eat food in the room because it's not allowed, what's the big deal? But Dorinda makes it a massive deal. Like, you're so thirsty and desperate, like, wanting to lay on the bed after she said no to you and stuff. And it's like,
Dorinda made this a way bigger deal than anybody else made it. And then made it seem like, oh, you're embarrassing Jill for talking about this so much and being so thirsty. When it's like, you're actually the one that's making this a huge deal for no reason.
So Jill leaves and like she's going to bed, and while she's going to bed, she crosses paths with Phaedra and starts telling Phaedra what happened. But Dorinda follows her out. Dorinda is the issue. If someone leaves the room, let them leave the room. She followed her like 2 separate times.
Yep.
And just to tell Jill that her behavior was awkward. And so like Jill goes to the confessional with Phaedra, and Jill says that she lets Dorinda away with a lot since like this is her house and she knows she's lost her husband however long ago, and like she's planned all these things, but Dorinda never supports her. And even Dorinda come in, and now Dorinda keeps going off, and like Dorinda's like pointing in Jill's face and getting loud and stuff during this, telling her she's weak as like Jill walks away and goes to bed, and Dorinda's just still
even
yelling.
Jill's like, yeah, I'm weak. Fine, I'm weak. And she's just like yelling at her. This was like so out of pocket to me that I'm just like, what? Why are you? This doesn't even have anything to do with you at all. And you're causing this screaming match, and you're really hurting someone's feelings, obviously. For what?
I do wonder if Dorinda will go back and watch this, because I'm not justifying Dorinda's behavior, because Dorinda is making this like a miserable experience to watch.
Miserable.
That I could see being caught up in all of it, where you feel this pressure to host these people. These people are disrespecting your rules, and you want things to go well. It's your first time on TV again in however many years. Like, all this stuff. Like, I could see being wrapped up in it. And then I'm hoping for her sake she watches it back and is like, oh, I'm seeing now why they were so upset with me, versus like I didn't see in the moment. I'm just hoping that for her. I don't think it'll happen.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it will. It's just like that's the only saving grace she can have from this, is like at the end of these 8 episodes be like, yeah, I was a monster. I shouldn't have acted the way I did. Because otherwise,
I feel like she had a good opportunity for that on Watch What Happens Live, but she really didn't take it.
Perfect.
Yeah. I don't think she really doubled down so much, but I mean, when she was talking about when she went into the confessional, when Jill was upset, she's like, well, I wanted to make sure Jill wasn't talking about me, and I wanted to hear what she was saying, and I wanted Phaedra still to like me, so I went in to see what was going on. So it's like she really was just making excuses. She wasn't saying like, yeah, I was an asshole to Jill.
Great. Well then, Dorinda, you're a lost cause. Yeah, I'm not. The first season was far more enjoyable to me, right, than what the second season is shaping up to be.
Me too. And a lot of people have the opposite opinion. A lot of people online are like, this season is amazing. The first season was a flop. Nothing happened. Everybody got along. And I'm like, this season is chaos. Like, I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it because I'm just horrified, I guess I could say. But the first season, I much preferred. I felt like we were seeing genuine relationships form. I was getting to know the women in a different way. It really made me like Kenya so much more. And I've never really been anti-Kenya, but I feel like it really warmed me up to Kenya. We got to see a very different perspective of Teresa. I just really, I mean, Ramona was a disaster. I just feel like we got a lot more substance, where this is just drunk fighting. And I know I've talked about this probably 100 times, but like when it just becomes drunk debauchery, I'm not interested in watching it because nothing's happening other than drunk yelling.
I know we've kind of evolved from like people's issues with Brandy to now like Dorinda being a monster, but Dorinda's kind of like been a monster throughout, and it's just that like some of her monstrosity was a little bit more justified at the beginning, and I think was also sheltered by people's reactions towards Brandy. But now that like Brandy's kind of calmed down a bit, Dorinda's really shining through, and to me, it just like it's not comfortable to see the way Dorinda is treating any of them at any given time. And that's my biggest issue. Like there is such a power dynamic because this is at Dorinda's house and she's hosting so many of these things that the women are being like, well, it is her home. She's done this, like where I feel that if this, I mean, like, I feel like if this wasn't in her house, like Tamra destroys her.
Oh, 1,000%. If
Vicky,
they were out somewhere, like, if they went to Mexico, they didn't go to Mexico. They went to St. Lucia or something like that on the first day. I don't remember. But like if they were there, Turks and Caicos, right? If they were in Turks and Caicos this season, I think it would be a completely different ballgame. And I think these women would be ripping Dorinda a new asshole. But they can't because they're staying in her home. So it's kind of like, it's really an unlevel playing field here. I don't know. The casting rumors are ongoing. For season 3, and it's pretty much the same crappy cast we thought it was going to be, except Candace is there now instead of Karen.
I saw that
Huger, too. Which I like. You know, I actually like Candace. I know a lot of people don't. I do. But the rest, I'm kind of like, am I going to watch this? Leah and Tinsley, Garcelle and Candace, Heather and Whitney, which I'm not interested in. Although the rumors are saying that they're on opposite sides this season of Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. And then who else? I forget.
I don't know. I'm like not even interested in a season 3 cast because I still have to tolerate the season 2 one.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I'm going. I'm kind of like, well, this season is a little lackluster, and then the next cast is going to be like, bleh. I'm just kind of like, okay, the 2 from Miami that we should.
Oh, yeah. Alexia is all right. Marisol annoys me, but they're best friends.
Yeah, so, it just feels a little meh to me.
Yeah. But Marisol and Alexia can drink. And so but they aren't like messy drunks. And Marisol will like stir some shit and Alexia will speak her mind. So there's potential, at least with those two, to like especially with like a Giselle there. I don't know, like Giselle alone can carry a show for me. That
I agree.
Especially with her having Candace.
Right. I agree.
So,
but why no Atlanta women? No, why no Atlanta women? Why no Jersey women? Let's like bring these franchises. No New York. Oh no. Well, Leah and Tinsley.
I just hate that it's pairs. Like, give me individuals, because then you have like the Tamra Vicky component, and
give me one from each season.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of 2 from 4. Give me 1 from each.
Exactly. All right, I think I've talked about the show as much as I want to, as frustrated as I am with it. And I think we've covered a lot of the internet stuff too, right?
Yeah, I think we've covered just about all of it.
Perfect. Then let's wrap this sucker up. Katie, you're doing a lot these days on the internet.
Well, yeah, I'm in my downtime right now, but starting in like 2 days, I'm going to be full speed ahead. So right now, you can follow me on Twitter at RealSimKatie. You can also follow me on Instagram at RealSimKatie as well. Not too much going on in either one of those places right now, but Big Brother starts on Wednesday. So you can give me a follow on twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore, as well as Kari so politely has up on the screen. I'm sorting through what my schedule is going to look like, and you'll understand why in about 30 seconds when I tell you all the podcast things that are happening here on Silent Podcasts coming up. But I definitely will be streaming throughout the season of Big Brother and giving you my thoughts and stuff while playing games and interacting and whatever. So if you're interested in talking Big Brother and just hanging out with me, feel free to drop me a follow there. It's free to do so. For Silent Podcasts and for this Big Brother season, we get a cast tomorrow, which is Tuesday. If you're listening to this late, it's July 4th. So it's Tuesday, July 5th. We're getting our cast. The show premieres on Wednesday, July 6th. I think we might be doing some feeds coverage this season. We're still sorting through some of that stuff. So you may get me and maybe Josie or a few others a couple of times a week talking about feeds. We'll see. It's going to be short, not like anything you hear elsewhere, just mostly giving you the drama and the tea and just giving you kind of like an update on where things stand in the house. So we're working through scheduling on that. You'll also be able to find us just covering the Big Brother season. It's going to be myself, Isaiah, Josie, and Lance again, the same crew that did Big Brother Canada. I think we're starting on Friday to cover the season, but we'll see. I think we're still working through scheduling on that, but you'll catch us at least once a week, if not more. We'll see how the season goes. That should be starting this Friday. You'll also be getting the Challenge USA, which is the CBS version of the Challenge with all the CBS reality shows that Kari has done such an amazing job introducing you to the cast of. I'm going to be covering that with Kari this season, which I'm really excited about, which also starts on Wednesday right after Big Brother, so it's a packed week. And then next week, The Bachelorette starts, and I so silly so sillily, I guess, or
I was silly enough to.
Silly enough, thank you. I was silly enough to say, hey, anyone want to cover the season of The Bachelorette? Forgetting that they're 2-hour episodes on Monday, and that's a whole other nightmare of things that I have to deal with. So you'll probably hear me on some Bachelorette coverage this season as well. We'll see how long we can keep that up. But yeah, we're ramping up here. So this was a little bit of a lull. This was a nice long weekend. I was very thankful to CBS for telling us we're not getting the cast until Tuesday, so I didn't have to like keep my eye on my phone all weekend and worry about what was coming out and all the drama. So this is my last moment of peace. I'm protecting it, and then tomorrow it's all systems go. So catch me in any one of those places. I'll be around. Don't worry, you can't miss me. Even if you want to, I'll be there.
Yeah, Katie's gonna be on the Kari podcasting schedule, so Godspeed. I mean, I've only done this is my third podcast today, so
today, yeah. Kari did 3 podcasts today,
but that's also because like of the long weekend and entertaining guests. But mine's not nearly as hectic as yours. So, for me, I am KGD26. And you can find me catch me on Twitter tweeting Love Island, sports, politics. So doing a bunch of that stuff right now. I am trying to be a little bit more active on the Instagram. But then in terms of podcasting, obviously Katie and I bring you your weekly Housewives coverage despite the fact that we like hate what's going on right now. We didn't have Atlanta this week to like balance everything out.
Yeah, Atlanta's a good balance.
Yeah. And we just finished up the preseason Challenge USA coverage on TJ Hates Quitters last week. I did an episode with Josie about Love Island people, and then I did an episode with Sasha and Sabrina, which was a lot of fun, about the 3 Amazing Race people, and we kind of like talked overall challenge stuff, so definitely check that out, especially if you are someone who doesn't watch some of the shows where these people are coming from. We did a Survivor and Big Brother one as well, so definitely informative. And there are 4 separate podcasts, so you have a little bit of time to catch up on those, or just listen to the ones of the shows you don't watch normally. And then we'll be concluding our Challenge All-Stars coverage in the next couple of days as well, because the season finale will be coming out on Wednesday, just like everything else is coming out on Wednesday. So that's also TJ Hates Quitters. And then I started my little special project that I had been alluding to for like a month today. So I'm not going to say who my guest was, but I'm basically going to be using Boy Meets World as a vehicle for conversation. And so like I talked to my guest today for like an hour and a half, and we talked baseball, we talked sibling relationships, we talked like teachers in the workplace, because both of us are educators, and just like a lot of stuff, and like a lot of laughs. It was funny, there was serious stuff, just like stories from our lives. So definitely more of like, if you just want to listen to 2 people have a casual conversation, I'm going to be bringing people on from all over the internet. You may have heard of them, you may have not. They might be from TV shows, I have a friend coming on who's like TikTok famous. I'll have Katie, like I'll have everyone and anyone. So it's definitely, I'm super excited about it. I'm going to record a few episodes before we start dropping them, so I have some like lined up. So expect that to drop sometime next week, hopefully. And it's called Tomboy Meets World. So
Love that.
I was happy with myself when I thought of that one. But that is everything that I'm doing. So This special project needs to hurry up, Valencia. It's coming. I'm recording the first episode today. I swear. It'll be coming soon. Isaiah is my next guest. I did not have the podfather of our podcast network be my first guest. But there's reason for it. That'll be explained in the show. But quickly,
Amazing.
if you aren't subscribed to us, you should be, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube by searching Silent Podcast, or on Twitter, silent_podcast. Find us, follow us, see all of our upcoming news and everything like that. And then if you are listening to us in podcast form, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, or any other ones, make sure you leave us 5 stars. Don't leave anything less than 5 stars, please. We love your nice words. Don't appreciate the bad words. And if this wasn't a 5-star episode, then wait for a 5-star episode and rate us then. But you can find us everywhere. And we are expanding coverage like by the second. So just follow our Twitter and see what we're up to. But that is it for us. Until next week. Well, you'll catch Katie and I sooner than next week, but it'll just be on TJ Hates Quitters.
Yes.
So for your Real Housewives coverage, yes, catch us next weekend, but you'll probably see us Thursday covering the first episode of the challenge.
Yay.
So until then, enjoy your week. Hope you had a good holiday weekend, and keep fighting for actual independence and freedom and not the oppression going on in this country. Bye.
Yep, exactly. Bye.